Shalom everybody, Shavua Tov. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land and hosted by myself, Rolene Marks. We bring you those top stories making headlines in Israel and the region, as well as the Jewish world, every Monday to Thursday on our various platforms. So without further ado, let's get into those top stories. Israel welcomed outgoing German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who is busy with her farewell tour to Israel on Saturday night after Shabbat. Yesterday, the outgoing Chancellor got off to a busy start. Her first meeting was with Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, where she said that Israel's security will be central to any German government. Angela Merkel then went on to meet with our President Isaac Herzog at Beit Hanassi, the President's residence, where he complimented her on her commitment and thanked her for all her efforts to combat anti-Semitism, speaking about the shared values between Israel and the German people. After that, it was a more somber visit as the outgoing Chancellor visited Yad Vashem, which is Israel's National Holocaust Museum and Memorial. Angela Merkel laid a wreath, and in her comments to visitors, she spoke about the privilege of our two countries managing to re-establish ties after this, and also spoke about the responsibility of Germany and the German people not to forget the Holocaust and to guard against Holocaust denial. Early in the day, she also met with female members of Knesset and released quite a powerful photograph of the Chancellor with our Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, as well as the 9 female Chave Knesset. Today is International Day of the Girl Child, and that is something that all young girls, should they want to, can aspire to. Earlier today, Angela Merkel met with an Israeli think tank and discussed, amongst many things, peace and security in the region, and said, please, Israel must push for a peaceful solution with the Palestinians, and reiterated her support for a two-state solution. Angela Merkel is not the only dignitary visiting the country. The US former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is also in the country, where he, as we speak, is part of a delegation to inaugurate the Abraham Accords caucus in the Knesset. But yesterday, addressing people at the Psagot winery, he made a very, very important statement. The former Secretary of State stated that Israel is not an apartheid state. That is an accusation that many of the country's detractors try to accuse Israel of, saying that Israel is just like the racist regime that South Africa was during the apartheid years. He went on to laud Israel's vibrant and tolerant democracy. Also visiting our shores is Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, who are here in the country to inaugurate the Abraham Accords. They are taking place as this broadcast is happening at the Knesset, and includes, amongst many dignitaries, the ambassadors from the countries such as Bahrain, Morocco, and the United Arab Emirates, who are signatories to these accords. And I think we all hope and we all look forward to many more countries joining our circle of peace. And our final story takes us to Geneva, to the United Nations Human Rights Council, who yesterday passed a resolution 32-10 in favor of a pro-Durban resolution. So what is this, you must ask? Well, last week, 38 countries boycotted what we are calling Durban 4, which was the 20th anniversary of the first Durban Conference, or UN Conference Against Racism and Other Intolerances, that was held in Durban, South Africa in 2001. That particular conference and its subsequent iterations have descended into anti-Semitic and anti-Israel free-for-alls. Addressing the UNHRC, one of the 10 countries that voted against it, their envoy, Simon Manley, of the United Kingdom said that, his country will not support and will not attend any of these conferences while they take place in their current iteration, which is to push anti-Semitic tropes. He said the United Nations has almost denied the presence of anti-Semitism. It is such an important speech. Not only did he say that, but he demanded a roll call and delayed the passage by consensus of this bill. So our great thanks to the envoy to the UNHRC from the United Kingdom, Simon Manley. One thing that the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has spoken about many times is the importance of combating anti-Semitism and the UN's commitment to that. Well, I think Envoy Manley wanted to hold him accountable to that, as well as the institution as a whole. And we would really like to see that happening, because many are of the opinion that the UN focuses disproportionately on the state of Israel, the Jewish state, and ignores anti-Semitism as it manifests around the world. So those are your top stories making headlines. We have new articles up on our website. You can check them out at www.layoftheland.online. I've written an article about the squad, yes, the infamous squad, and their stunt trying to stop funding for the Iron Dome. It's up on our website. It's up on our Facebook page. Now, we know that many people are not seeing our posts, are not seeing our briefs, but rest assured we are posting new content every day. So if you visit us at Lottel's site, please join our community by liking us or following us and sharing our content. We know that many of you are facing the same restrictions from Facebook, where your content or whatever you want to say, your organizations, your businesses, are not getting shared. So let's all support each other. We're also up on YouTube, where you can watch us at the Israel Brief. And if you like us, please hit the like, share and subscribe buttons, as well as the little bell that notifies you every time we post a new brief. And we're on Twitter for those of you who like to tweet. We sure do. And you can find us at Lay of the Land 5. It's at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and check in with us again tomorrow for your latest headlines.